Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Chaosium, Call of Cthulhu, 5th edition, Delta Green, Death in the Desert campaign. And we're going to continue the story here. So I am playing, this is a physical table game. I am the player, and there is a Delta Green Dungeon Master running the story, doing a tremendous job. So we pick it up with in this cave. So I have just captured a Emmanuel Santana. He is an Apache resident. He was an old man, and he was a U.S. military veteran, an Army veteran. And we took 4 Apache deputies. I took Major Garrett, and I took Apache Sheriff Alejandro Colorados with me, and we were able to easily take this one person, right? So we take this one person down, and we find his lair, and it is genuinely a lair. So there is a decaying corpse, and then there are literally a collection of two bone collections, and each bone collection is another human being. So I had earlier Dwayne Harrigan, the Border Patrol agent, the federal INS Border Patrol agent that my player character is, had actually reached this point where oh yeah, so I'm sorry. Had followed these coyotes who had followed this coyote who magically led him to the Begay family corpses, right? Well, since we're in the Apache land, I was like, wait a second, don't the Apaches have some spiritual ideas about coyotes? So we went to the Apache library, and I met Maria Two Stones. Marina Two Stones. And she was the librarian, and we got some information on these coyotes, and they're considered like transformer tricksters, right? And so I believe that this was, that this coyote had given me some information, right? And really was a different entity. It wasn't a coyote. It was like some type of creature using the guise of coyote, right? So when we get there, right, we find these corpses. And I had to go to the library because the elders, there were 3 elders of the Apache reservation that were experts on this subject, and they could have given me much, much better information. But they were on this retreat, right? And we were waiting for them to return. Well, guess what? The corpses, that's them. It's all 3 of the Apache elders. And so Emmanuel Santana had not only killed them, but he had eaten 2 of them, and literally eaten all of them, right? Now, this matches, Kenneth Braverman's kids were bloodless and partially cannibalized, and the Begay family was bloodless and partially cannibalized. And so this is like the 3rd time we found one of these people who are in one of these corpses, and there's 3 corpses that are in exactly the same state, right? So this is hellish, right? And by the way, I had to make a sanity check, which I did pass. But get this. So my sanity started at 90. The first time I made a sanity check, I passed, and then had to roll 1d3 sanity loss. That's what you get if you succeed, right? I think I don't know what happens if you like fail. Maybe like a 1d10 sanity loss, a 1d20. It's a good question, right? So it was really interesting. So I had to make a sanity check on this one, and I passed, and still had to do a 1d3 sanity loss, and I lost 2 points of sanity here. So I'm now down to 87 out of my original 90, right? And every time this happens, the sanity checks are more difficult. That's interesting. It's an interesting aspect of Delta Green. It's actually my worst. It's what I hate the most about Call of Cthulhu. But this story actually very much earned it. So, which maybe other people who are playing Call of Cthulhu, they are earning it I'm not positive. It's interesting. I found it very, very interesting. So so all this is going down, and then so not only do we find these three corpses there, but we also find this extremely dark sand painting. Okay, which Apache people do, and it was of a lone dark figure with like tentacles coming up out of the ground, right? Or actually could have been wisps of smoke, could have been tentacles, hard to tell, like, but it's clearly this incredibly dark figure. And my character actually has this moment where he's actually staring at it, and he actually recognizes the face on, he's actually able to capture the face of this figure. And he's, again, almost in like this dream state. He captures the figure, the face of this figure, but he hasn't seen it before. But he knows the face strong enough that he'll be able to recognize it in the future. Dungeon Master did an extremely good job of painting this dark, mysterious picture of this. So we find that, and then the last thing we find is we find this, this dark. It seemed like a dark plastic object, but it also didn't seem like plastic, and then it had buttons, and it was making sounds, and it seemed electronic. We actually had the bomb squad come in, and they were like, "This is not a bomb, but we also don't know what it is," right? So like it's a functioning piece of technology, but we don't know what the source is, but we're gonna turn it over because it's not a bomb and we're the bomb slot. So we would keep it if it was, but it's not. So now it's it's in my hands. So and that and then our final piece. Actually a couple things. So a way back when we were back at the when me and Scott Yeager, my partner, were back at the hotel, we actually got a package that was given to us that gave us more additional information about similar happenings, and this was all anonymous, kind of dumped on our door. We're given additional information that this was all connected to a meteor that had landed in West Virginia. Scott Yeager, me and my partner, didn't even have time to share any of this, right? One of the things I loved was I really don't like Call of Cthulhu most of the time, and this was done. And one of the reasons why is you run around not getting any clues, and you're like, oh my gosh, how long is this going to go before this breaks? But this was very well paced, where we were getting a clue, and then the clues started coming so fast we couldn't even process them all fast enough, right? And just clues like for things we'd already discovered, but also new clues, right? And it was really good, and I really liked it a lot. And I was very impressed with just the pace of the clues being given, and not even being given, me using my abilities on my sheet to gain them, right? To win them, to accomplish them, and that was extremely good. Then at this point, I wanted, the dungeon master's like, okay, so there's a whole bunch of work to be done here, a lot of investigation to do. Where do you start? And I'm like, I'm not going to start. I'm not even going. I'm going to leave this location and go back and talk to my partner. That's not what I want to do, but he's my partner, and I need to check on him. So I do that, right? And there was a good scene where I kind of like built up some rapport with Scott Yeager, and it was good. It was really good. I really liked it. I was very impressed with, and I liked that I was starting to build an actual rapport with this person. So it was really cool. I really liked it, and I was very impressed with everything this presented. And that's it. We're at session 2. So everything that I've told you to this point has happened in 2 sessions. Without a doubt, the best Call of Cthulhu campaign I've ever played in. It's not even close. This is way better than anything I've ever experienced. Also, I think this is an example of a dungeon master really continuing to ramp up his abilities over a decade and a half, right? Like actually a solid decade. If you like, I cannot stress this enough. When you begin dungeon mastering, you're going to suck. There's just no two ways about it. It's like playing basketball. You're just not going to be shooting threes for a while, right? You're going to suck, and everybody wants to tell you it's easy and that you can do it, encourage you. No, it's extremely hard. And the one thing I would tell you is get in, take your lumps, right? Like it's almost like a gang initiation. Like just like you're gonna take some hits, man. It's gonna be difficult, right? Like it's just, and you know, virtual. No one would, I would never suggest anyone do an actual gang initiation. You should only do that in tabletop role-playing games, right? Right. And even then, it should only be part of a redemptive arc, right? But this idea that this encouraging people to dungeon master because it's easier, because they can do it. No, you're going to get in. It's going to be brutal. You're going to make a ton of mistakes, and then you're going to get better over years. This takes years to master. And this is a dungeon master that I played with before years ago. And now he's really, like, he has massively ramped up his skill set. And I'm incredibly impressed, incredibly impressed. And I want to encourage you, stick around for the beautiful part, right? Like, because it's going to be rough when you start. And anybody who tells you different, I think they're lying. It's just the way it is. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.